In Kenya, streets echo like gunshots. And sometimes silence is the only thing that answers back. But not Albert. Albert Ojwang tweeted, hoping his voice would echo in the cracks of our so called democracy. But instead, his voice met men with badges and boots that do not serve, only stomp. I keep hearing the fear in his voice. Not knowing what he was about to face was worse than anything his mind could ever comprehend. He said, Dad, tell them not to put me in a place where I can't breathe. He was asthmatic. He was terrified. And still, they did not listen. Keep seeing his father traveling to Nairobi with a title deed, not to buy or sell land, but to beg for his son's life, trying to ransom him from the belly of a system that devours its young, a system rotten from its roots. He had worked so hard for 20 years in a quarry so his only son could graduate. And now that son, a teacher, a husband, a father to a 3-year-old child, was being returned to him lifeless. Freedom of speech in Kenya is like a mirage in the desert, legal on paper but fatal in practice. We say we have a justice system. Where is justice when power has bodyguards and the people only have body bags? Nikisema msee amechafua jina yangu alafu next day yako kwa body bag, unadhani ni nani alitoa order? Kwa Kenya hiyo sio rido, ni system vile imesetiwa. Who did it? Ama tungoje BBC? Hey Kenya bro, hakuna need ya clues. We already know the script. Because here, power wears impunity like perfume sprayed after murder. They say he offended the wrong man, but who was the wrong man if the right ones are dead? Albert spoke and a top cop spoke with actions that cannot be reversed, claimed his name had been tarnished. Then came silence. Then blood, then autopsy, torture, bruises, a broken body, a broken and rotten system. The officer is still in uniform, still holding press briefing, still walks freely, while Albert's son will grow without a father, and with a grandfather whose heart is shattered. He will be raised by a widow. Because the state feared a tweet more than it fears Abba Father. We were told we have freedom of speech, but when we speak, they silence us with bullets and tear gas. But our tears haven't dried. Bado tunalia. We were promised justice, but when the rich light the march, the law becomes their bodyguard and leaves the poor in the fire. When power wears a suit, it breaks the law and boards the flight to another country. But when a mere citizen says, no, 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 this isn't right, he ends up 6 feet beneath the soil that was supposed to anchor him. Tell me, what constitution protects the breath of the poor when even breath itself is taxed with blood? Albert's father came with hope, folded in documents with sweat of years, clutched in trembling hands, but still he returned with empty arms and a silence so heavy it buried him too. He was traumatized. He left with land, but came back with loss. A father with a title deed and no son to inherit it. This nation is bruised. Kenya kuna uvundo mkali wa damu, harufu ya mili isiyo na majina ya mateso yaliyofichwa chini ya vumbi la ukimya. The soil smells like screams. Our air is thick with the stench of unburied truth. We've masked the stench of death with national anthems and the official speeches we keep hearing and saying, but the ground is still whipping. We keep putting bandages of our bullets and hoping pain will just learn to behave. But I am tired. Tired of being afraid to speak. Tired of whispering grief like it is a sin. Tired of wondering if I'll come home each time I choose truth over silence. Hii si historia ya mtu mmoja. Historia nchi nzima, ni wimbo wa mioyo iliyochoka na midomo inayotetemeka kuongea ukweli. Na damu haifai kuwa hatima. Damu haifai kuwa bei ya kusema ukweli, haifai kuwa kawaida. This is not just about Albert. This is about the value of one life, your life, my life, our lives. It's about the deafening question we keep asking: in whose hands are we safe? In whose hands are we safe? When the hands meant to protect us turn into the fists that crush us, when the voice of reasons are met with loaded guns, and peace is a privilege and pain is a citizen's tax, who will count our lives as sacred? Oh, our sky is heavy with names. Names we were never supposed to mourn. No, 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 not for these reasons. Ask Brian Odhiambo's mother. Ask the Kianja Koma brothers' parents. Ask Denzel's dad. Ask Rex Masai's family. Ask the parish where a priest was gunned down. Ask Albert's father. Or maybe you need to ask Albert's mother, who prepared a meal her son was never able to finish because he was handcuffed to his grave. Ask Albert's father, who is still standing in his own shadow, holding to his son's memory like a wound that won't close. They are still holding to their son's memory like a wound that won't close. So this is not a cry for revenge. This is a cry and a call to resurrect justice, to give breath to a system gone cold. This is a cry for truth, not whispered in fear, but shouted in the streets, louder than sirens, stronger than silence. For those that remember the people they were written for, not the power they now protect. This is a call for justice that doesn't need connection to function. For a Kenya where human life weighs more than ego in uniform, because silence is no longer safe and our children are watching. So I ask you again, in whose hands are we safe? Because ours are still bleeding. When will justice be our shield and defender?